Live from the Export Beer Garden studio and brought to you by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda podcast for the 24th of May.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
I'm back from my sojourn to Dunedin.
Yep, and you search for a place to host the Ultra Beer Garden pre-game before the All Blacks.
It's a little sad going down there now because I was there for 3 years, probably about 10 years ago now. And just going back to all the bars, all the memories that I had, and all of the student bars are shut now. There's like literally none of them left.
Anyone's we can recommission?
Oh, I mean, all of them, yeah, definitely.
So they're all just empty.
The cook downstairs is just a pizza joint.
Yeah.
And the garden bar that used to be there is now a parking lot. They're refurbishing what was called Refuel when I was there, which was the actual university bar.
Yeah.
Starters is shut. Monkey Bar's shut. Obviously, Gardy's we talked about was turned into a library.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. There's another place that I forget what it was called, but it was a bar. It might have been Melba's at one point.
The Bowler? Is the Bowler still there?
I don't know. I don't remember the Bowler.
I think that was maybe before your time.
Before my time. But yeah, they've just strangled it. And funnily enough, despite the fact that Otago University's bought up all of the bars and shut them down, can you believe this? Students are still drinking.
Really?
I can't understand how that didn't work from Otago Uni.
Well, I mean, we're still working on a venue, so hopefully we can recommission one of those.
Yeah.
And the idea is, and if you're listening down in Dunedin or South Canterbury or in Southland, and you're looking to attend the All Blacks England game on 6th of July, we basically want to reopen a place or take over a place for 2 nights, put an export beer garden in there and just go hammer and tongs for about 48 hours.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you up to date on that.
For me, because I know, DB's in behind us for this, I think Starters or the Cook, one of those bars for me. I would love that.
Yeah.
It could be too big a task. I've seen the state of those places and some of them could be well beyond repair.
Well, that's quite good for us though, isn't it? Because we could go in there and just send it further into disrepair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Absolutely thrash it. Some actual sporting news. You've just, hot off the press, you've just seen it just now as we go to record.
Yeah, Australia's been shortlisted as an option to host an NFL regular season game, and they're talking to the MCG about this. And they have been shortlisted to host a game as soon as 25-26. Teams such as LA Rams and the Eagles, obviously where Australian Jordan Mailata has become a star.
Mm-hmm.
They've both got formal ties with Australia. LA Rams have kind of adopted Australasia in New Zealand as well. They have a program over here. So yeah, they're looking to expand their footprint into Australia. And I'm in. If they go over there, I am 100% going.
I am in as well. And we were just saying this before. This seems like Peter V'landys was over there during the Las Vegas round, because we just heard that he was sitting at the table with Joe Biden and managed to broker a deal to get, in a roundabout way, Joe Biden to pay for Papua New Guinea to join the NRL.
Is he the unofficial Prime Minister, really, of Australia?
Yeah, it seems that way. Well, Biden knew who he actually needed to talk to. It wasn't Albanese.
It wasn't anal.
It wasn't anal. It was V'landys.
Right, well, look.
It was in Australia, because he's still, I think, in charge of racing, if not countrywide, I think at least in New South Wales or Victoria, one of the two. He geo-blocked all of the gambling over there and basically brought racing back from the dead in Australia. And that's massive there at the moment. He's done the same thing with the NRL. We need to get Peter V'landys in charge of Super Rugby.
Yeah, just give him that as well.
Yeah.
He can obviously handle several balls in the air.
Yeah.
So, I'm in. Like, if he managed to negotiate that over a couple of beers in Las Vegas during the opening round in Vegas, then yeah.
What could he do for our beloved rugby union? So yeah, rugby league. That's the other biggest bombshell. In fact, the biggest bombshell that's happened, I think, this week. Adam Fanua-Blake has been stood down from the Warriors. The official release stated that head coach Andrew Webster has said Fanua-Blake had removed himself from the dressing room after the win over Penrith and wasn't present for the post-match team address or the team song. Andrew Webster said this doesn't meet our standards, and Adam accepts full responsibility for his behaviour. What is going on here?
Look, I've heard, I don't know, who I've heard it from, but I've heard several rumours. One of the rumours is his family were over there and he wanted to go see them.
Okay.
And potentially he was like, I'm just going to nip out and see my family. You guys celebrate, whatever. saying that was a historic victory.
Yes.
What are you thinking? Like,
Also,
stick around for what? How long's the team address in the song?
Yeah.
15 minutes?
There's
20 minutes?
There were 2 more games after we played.
Yeah.
So you couldn't have gone and met your family in the stands after that.
Yeah. Or the other rumour is he's just a massive see you next Tuesday, dropped the bottom lip, doesn't actually want to play for the Warriors anymore, and went and just hung out with someone else, his mates, his new mates. Where's he going? Cronulla.
Cronulla, yeah. I kind of feel like this is what I've been saying. I actually talked to Mike Minogue last night, and he's like, you'll be back on that podcast tomorrow banging on about how the transfer window needs to be sorted out. And I was like, yep, absolutely I will. Because I said this from the start. The problem with players signing to leave at the end of the year is when things like this happen, the whole team's going to be like, oh, well, fuck you, you're out of here anyway. Yeah. So what do you care? And that's going to be the rumour. If I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, probably the biggest thing would be, has he been carrying an injury, been getting a hiding week after week after week, and he's just, blown a gasket a little bit? We saw Rob Penny did the same thing at a press conference.
But if he's blown a gasket, just turn up, sing the song, get the address, and then go blow a gasket. I don't understand it. If you've come straight off the field, where have you gone? Yeah,
that I don't understand. Was he fully dressed still in his Warriors kit? He must have been. Did he have a shower first?
I'll tell you what would be great if it comes out that he just went straight into the stand and got on the beers with some Warriors fans. and like if that got released, the Warriors fans would go, yeah, fuck yeah, and Noah Blake.
That'd be the way you turn it around.
But if that did happen, there'd be hundreds of selfies going around and photos of him sinking beers with Warriors fans.
So I don't think that did happen.
No.
But yeah, so like I was saying, if I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt, I'd say, look, he's obviously, it's done his head in. He's been stood down this week. We've got to bye next week. Give him a couple of weeks. He'll be back. I don't think that's how this is going to play out, but that's how I'd love it to play out. If he is done and he's checking out, then that does our championship hopes in almost entirely.
I mean, this all goes back to the dog, doesn't it?
Well, this was the other one that's been going around is what role do we have? Why have you tried to jump off this one? The video's still up there. They've seen it, and it's you calling him a coward.
Spineless.
Spineless, sorry. Not a coward.
I think their decision not to take the dog is spineless, because you can take a dog to Australia.
Yeah. I offered to take the dog in, and yet somehow I am the one that's in the squealy and the beef with him.
Well, it's upset them. Yeah. And it might have upset him so much that he's like, I can't deal with the stresses. I don't know what to do with the poor dog. Maybe apart from take it with you. So that was also, I've heard those same rumours.
Yeah, and look, did he have to duck out and head to the local SPCA perhaps? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. This is going to be very dramatic for the Warriors. I think that maybe, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of weeks we find out that Webster's just said, oh, well, look, you're leaving anyway, so just go now.
But I don't want to pay him.
No, I know.
Like, that sucks from him if that's the case. Like that does suck.
Yeah.
Because the team is on a high at the moment in terms of Wade Egan's re-signed.
Yeah. Just beat the Panthers. Marata's back. Freddie Lussick's back. CHT's back.
You know what I mean? And RTS is back this season. It's like, this has been a drama from the start when he wanted out.
A distraction,
distraction. Convinced him to stay another year. And now mid-season, it's created another one.
Yeah. I just sort of think whatever happens, it needs to happen over that bye week when we're not playing. It needs to come out and it's just like, right, he's either gone and we're like, sweet, he's out. Obviously that's a bugger, but we are just going with whoever we've got now. Or he's sticking around, and at that point, we as a fan base also need to be like, okay, he said he's sticking around. Yeah. He's sticking around. That's what's happening. And so we're all in either way. But that has to happen over the next 2 weeks. And I don't know. The worst case scenario is after the bye, it comes back and he's still stood down and we don't really know what's going on. Then it becomes a massive distraction.
Yeah, all stories will be about that as well.
Yeah. So this is, again, the problem. This is why there has to be, when the season finishes, there's like 4 or 5 months between the end of the season and the start of the next season. That's when you switch teams. Mm-hmm. You don't do it a year before.
Yeah.
Because this is what happens. As soon as something like this happens, now everyone's like, oh, well, you're out.
As Mitty's probably already got an apartment in Cronulla.
I would rather not talk about her. If possible, turn the cameras off. All right. Let's take a break. I may or may not be back after it. All right. We've distanced ourselves from that kind of carry on.
Okay.
Super Rugby.
Yep.
Super Rugby.
The derbies. The derbies are back.
The derbies are back.
Yep.
The Chiefs versus the Canes tonight. This
Yep.
is a big game. It's in your hometown.
Yes. FML.
FML Stadium. You're not going down for it, are you?
No, I'm not going down for it. I am. Well, we'll be commentating it with James McConey.
Yeah.
So I won't be going down. No, but I do need to break the curse. So at some stage, I do need to travel to watch the Chiefs again. And so if they make the final, I might do that
Well, if they make the final, it could be here in
in Auckland.
Auckland. It could even also be in Wellington. Other than that, it will be a home final if it's not those two teams.
Yep, that's right. So, look, Chiefs are favourites though, which surprises me.
Heavy favourites, yeah.
Heavy favourites. The Canes, just because they're playing away, seem to have blown out a little bit. I think, what are they, 220? Or
230, I
230.
think.
So that's not bad eating, but the Canes are wobbling a little bit at this end of the season. They started off and on this podcast, I said it's their Super Rugby title to lose.
Yeah.
And then they lost Roygaard,
Yes.
and then they've lost Moore, and they've just slowly chipped on them away at some of their best players, and they're starting to get the wobbles just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. What's the latest on Amor? Is he going to be back for the playoffs? I thought he was.
For the Canes, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because he was probably one of the best players in the competition there for a while.
Yeah,
he was barnstorming.
Yeah. And then since they lost him, and they've basically been calling up anyone who's still fit, playing in the whited upper or something.
Yeah, Tupu Tupu's a new, he's the one that looks like a skunk. He's got the big skunk haircut.
Davy Crockett.
Yeah, the Davy Crockett. He's not a bad player, but you can tell he is super raw when it comes to Super Rugby.
Yeah, right. Didn't expect this.
Nah.
But great opportunity for him. Yeah, I don't know. I still think the Chiefs are going to win this one.
Yeah, I hope so. I think the Chiefs, they haven't had a great. I mean, they've been all right. They're in the top four.
Yeah.
But they haven't been the Chiefs of old, where they've,
Well, they lost a lot of good players.
Yeah, they did. And particularly in the forward pack.
Yeah, Retallick.
Yeah.
Kane.
And so I'm
Let's not
hoping.
forget Peter Gus.
Yeah, Peter Gus, Stubby Cooler. Yeah, some real great players, but they're kind of stuttered a little bit, and I'm hoping that they'll start to find their feet. McKenzie will play each game and start to take control a bit more.
Yeah.
Of course, Ratima and him are a dangerous combo at halfback and first five, a potential All Black combo.
Yep.
When
Powerful
you look at,
wingers.
Yeah, got good wingers. Nai Saturo and Narawa are back.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty J. Stevenson is back at fullback. He's
Anton
had
Dobro.
Dobro. Quinn Tupaia, Daniel Rona. The back line is solid. It's just the forwards at the moment that are battling away.
That aren't quite there.
Yeah.
I think I've just talked myself into the $1.50 favourites.
go.
We'll be breaking down all of the betting odds and hearing from the TAB as to what they've got going on later on this very feed on the ACC Sportsbook. Crusaders versus Blues tomorrow night. This could potentially be a banana skin for the Blues, do you think?
The only reason it'll be a banana skin is if a lack of motivation around, they don't really have to win this.
Yeah.
However, it is Auckland Canterbury. It is the biggest rivalry in New Zealand rugby, right there. And I think the Blues will take delight in spank, because they wouldn't have done this much in the past 10 years, and that is go to Christchurch and spank the Crusaders. So that'd be motivation enough for the Blues. I can't see the Crusaders snapping their losing streak. Obviously, they've probably got a little bit more to play for, and the fact that Rob Penny's copped a hiding this week in the media, that's probably about the only thing that's going to motivate them. But saying that, you can't rely on Severed Peace to score all your tries and win a game.
I've sort of thought, yeah, you're right. I've sort of thought in any other year, not just for the Crusaders, but for most other teams, if a Super Rugby coach called a reporter a cunt, that would be a real, bonding moment for the team.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel that way with this.
Nah.
This feels like a guy who's just set a franchise record for one of the worst seasons that they've ever had. And right at the end of it, he's just snapped at some reporter who's not even a sports reporter.
Nah.
Probably doesn't watch rugby, doesn't really give a shit.
No, he doesn't. He only turns up for just some meaty questions.
He was filling in, and he was just like, okay, what do we know about this team? Oh, they suck? Okay, sweet. Hey, why do you guys suck? And then he's just like, who's that guy? He's a cunt. It's like, okay. It's just another one. When we look back on the season, we'll look at Luxon jumping on board,
Crusaders, yep.
Yeah, and then we'll look at Rob Penny calling this guy, and then he'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'd watch that game. Tune into Sky Sport 9. We're going to get a sphinctometer into Rob Penny. We've watched it. We've taken it out of Ian Foster.
Yep.
We've watched it, and we're sticking it into Penny to see how he goes, because what he hates most is the cameras coming to the box.
Yeah, I know.
The coach's box. Be funny if he if they blacked out the box or something and just put a slit in the thing so you can just see out the slit like Ned Kelly.
Like he's an archer in a medieval tower.
Or he gets the facilities people to put just a tint on it so you can't see in it, just as a finger to, because he absolutely hates it, seeing him when they're getting spanked, and he's just like, but
it's all part of it.
It's all part of it, man. You're losing the game. Of course you're gutted.
And also that people want to watch that, and the fact that people want to watch your sport is why you have a job.
Yeah.
As a coach, you know what I mean?
So yeah.
Anyway, he's probably going to call me a cunt if he ever hears this. Myself and Matt Ward, I think, commentating that one tomorrow night on Sky Sport 9. The NZR debacle rolls on.
Yep.
You had to give me a quick crash course on what exactly is going on. I can't really wrap my head around it, although it seems pretty simple from what you were saying on the podcast the other day. There's basically, they commissioned that report.
Yep.
And
they're ignoring it.
And the provincial unions are like, nah, bin it.
Yeah.
We think this is how it should run. Well, Richie's been called in.
Yeah, big guns.
Yeah, break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah.
He rode his helicopter into New Zealand rugby headquarters.
Yeah, he dropped down. He put it in autopilot, let it hover over, and he's abseiled down.
He rappelled.
Into the news media, into NZME actually,
Yeah.
and talked to Gregor Paul and just said, no, this is how it's like. Then he climbed the rope back up, flew the chopper back to Christchurch.
Yeah, put a fire in the Port Hills out.
Yeah, rescued a couple of people out to sea and then went back again. So he's come out and he's just said, we're at a crossroads. He said, we're at a crossroads. We don't want to be in the situation. We want to, in 20 years' time, we want to look back at 2024 and go, they made a right decision there. I know it was hard, but they made the right decision for the game. And that's all he's saying. He's saying this is important, and he's basically imploring the provincial unions who are voting next week on this to take the blinkers off and think of the wider game and the future of the game. And so that's the crux of it. So, I don't know what... that's the heaviest artillery that the Players Association can throw out. I can't think of anyone more mana than that they can biff out.
If they brought like a Jonah Lomu hologram, like Tupac at Coachella.
Yeah, or Colin Meads hologram.
Colin Meads hologram, yeah.
No, mind you,
what do you reckon?
I think he's more on the old school side. I don't think.
Oh yeah,
he would be voting for the.
Tikawiri needs to have its own say. What I find interesting is the way that he was saying this isn't pros versus like provincial unions.
Yeah.
This is bigger than it. All of that, because the game in itself as a whole is facing so many issues.
Yeah,
and
so much competition.
But what you're like what we're proposing, it may not be 100% the best thing for your specific patch for some reason, and for another reason for another thing.
Yeah.
But for the game as a whole, this is actually what we're dealing with. It's not you guys might be screwed or you guys might. It's no, we're all fucked.
Yeah.
If we don't do something here.
Correct.
So put your own specific issue aside.
Yeah, Tasman, don't worry about it. Like Southland, Hawke's Bay.
Yeah.
Wairarapa Bush. Like it's like they're obviously all worried about their own patches, and rightly so.
As they should. That's their job.
That's their job. And it's like when you're in club rugby, all you're focused on is your club. How how can you make your club better? But it's going to be a super spicy scenario as well, because it's going to come to a head in a week's time.
Right.
And I don't know what's going to happen, but it could all implode and the players could walk away.
Because basically they've said, if you guys vote to keep it the way that it is, which isn't working, by the way, we're going to be forced to just go out ourselves.
Yep.
We're going to have to separate from New Zealand rugby and create our own thing, which will, I think, in turn fall apart, because those players will all of a sudden, they're not centrally contracted to New Zealand, so the black jersey doesn't keep them here. They will fuck off to Japan.
Correct. Or Europe.
Or Europe.
And France, en masse as well.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to people going, what's wrong with the current system? It's like, I've never seen a sport more under fire from overseas codes. NRL is the obviously the biggest elephant in the room.
Yeah.
It is going from strength to strength. I've got, the Magic Round is sold out. Is the rugby one not? No, fucking like hell.
Yeah.
They go to Vegas. They're growing their game globally from Australia. I've never seen so many kids supporting NFL NBA.
Yeah.
Like, American sports are coming in. The amount of competition they have now compared to
That's who you're competing with.
20 years ago, when I was playing rugby as a kid, that was their only real option. You did rowing or rugby, cricket, and if you're super fruity, you did tennis or something else. You know what I mean? Like, that was pretty much it. Football, but, it was too meat veg. I didn't even know about the NFL. NBA was in the background. Michael Jordan, everyone knew who he was.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal. You knew players. You didn't really follow the league.
Yes, yeah.
But now, like, my son punishes me every day with results. Like, he's
Stats.
watching NBA highlights on the bus home from school. Like, he's all over. And then when the NFL's on, he's all over NFL. And he's walking around in an NFL kit. And I'm like, that is the threat right there. He plays rugby still, and he likes it because he likes the club.
Yeah.
And he likes hanging out with his mates, drinking some Coke and chips, and they get kind of jerseys and they get looked after and they have heaps of activities.
Yeah.
But his goal is not to play for the All Blacks. He wants to play for the NBA.
Oh, yeah, I think that's the thing that New Zealand rugby's missing as well. Every 5-year-old kid is not dreaming of being an All Black anymore.
Yeah. I dreamed until I was 35. I had to give it away at 35 because up until 35, I reckon I could have taken a couple of years off.
And really focused on it.
Really focused on it. And there was that. Actually, it wasn't 35. It was actually 30.
Yeah.
It was 30 when I said, oh, that's it. Because in your 20s, you go, I reckon I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to eat chicken and just take protein and creatine and hit the gym. I'm going to get Sam Cane size neck. And then I'm going to go out and kick ass and I'm going to make the All Blacks.
Yeah.
And then at 30, you go, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I was lucky enough that happened for me at 16 with basketball, where I saw Ricky Rubio playing in the 2008 Olympics, and I was like, I thought when I made the North Otago representative team that I was in with a shot, and then I saw a guy my age playing at the Olympics against LeBron, and I was like,
True.
Yeah, okay, which is great. It was a great little reassessment.
Great leveler.
But yeah, I say all that to say that I think we can get back to that, where the All Blacks is the be-all and end-all. But it's not happening at the moment.
We've still got, in our club, we've still got 450 kids playing footy, and that is kids 4 to 12, because they go off to high school and you lose them. You lose them for 5 years. That's a lot of kids from a club, a small club, 40% of which are girls. Yeah. So that's massive as well. So that's growing. But it's like, so the passion's still there, interest is still there. But they're just competing with so much, they have to stay relevant. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but hiring Dude Perfect to run around the South Island with Richie McCaw and then dress them up as All Blacks and get them to do tricks, that's a shit idea.
Yeah, that's a miss.
Grow it at home first. I know you want to grow it globally, and Silver Lake are pressing you for that, but the biggest ambassadors for the game will be Kiwis going overseas, or Kiwis, you know what I mean? Like, you can't grow the game overseas without it, and just completely ignoring it and making it not non-relevant here. I hate to get all philosophical on it, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, and then we're starting to see the flow-on effects of the way that the game's been run, because the Heartland champions every year have the opportunity to go up and challenge for the Shield before the NPC season kicks off. This year, I know you talked about it the other day, but I wasn't here to address it. South Canterbury, undefeated for, I think, 3 years now. Can't afford to fly up to Napier to challenge for the Shield.
Yeah, and I didn't know the exact cost. When we talked about it on Wednesday, I didn't know the exact cost. I estimated it to be at 30, but apparently it's 50 grand.
Jeez, that's a lot of money.
30 grand, which is flights to get there, which I think is quite expensive, because Christchurch, Hawke's Bay, direct flight? I'm sure it is. I'm sure you can go to Napier from Christchurch.
I have no idea.
I don't.
I've never tried it.
Crazy. Maybe
it is fucking expensive to get up and down the country.
Yeah, that's true. And
because being from South Canterbury, it's so hard to get home, because you have to fly. You can fly to Timaru, but that is about 3 times the price of flying to Christchurch.
Right.
Timaru's still a 2-hour drive from Christchurch, so it's quite prohibitive. So I can see why the thing would get quite expensive. But surely we could have a whip around.
I totally could have a whip around. It's too late now, I think, because they've changed the scheduling. I think Hawke's Bay have moved on. But it is a shame, because they did mention, they've been up there twice, I think. They've been challenged twice. They went to Wellington and then went to Hawke's Bay. But you always, in the back of your mind, think, how good would it be for them to win it and take it into Heartland Rugby?
Yeah.
Because it'll stay in Heartland for 2 or 3 years before you get a challenge. No, you know what I mean? I don't know how it works in terms of NPC Premier teams challenging for it. How does that work?
Well, so they have the challenge preset. How it works at the moment is this is completely outside of the NPC. The Heartland just come up and play a one-off game as a challenge for the Shield. So I presume it would work the same way.
So the winning team of NPC would come to South Canterbury?
Yeah, that's right. So I think it would only probably be at Alpine Energy Stadium for about a year.
Well, that's enough, though.
But that is enough.
That is enough to make it happen. And I guarantee there's going to be a lot of provincial unions, and particularly in South Canterbury, going, where the fuck did all the Silvermake money go when we can't even afford 50 grand? You spend $1 million fucking bucks on female NFT players when NFTs were cool, and now you can't spring for us to go and challenge.
Yeah,
that I know it's probably more complex than that, but that is the optics from an outsider.
Yeah,
when you're looking in.
What happened to the Silver Lake money?
Yeah,
how come you punished us with how great this is going to be for the game for so long, and now you can't afford to fly these guys up here? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not good. It hasn't been a great PR week for NZR.
No, it's been an absolute shit show.
Yeah,
and if flights are the biggest thing, hey, Air New Zealand, come to the party.
Yeah. What
are we doing?
I know, that's what I said. It's like, just, look, I mean, I'm sure there's enough people in Canterbury, South Canterbury, who have Cessnas or, small light aircraft that can take 2 or 3.
We invented aircraft in South Canterbury. Richard Pearce is the first, but he did it 2 weeks before the fucking Wright brothers.
That's right.
I'll die on that hill. He was the first man to create sustained powered flight.
It's like Dunkirk. Like, just put them all in small aircraft and just send them up to Hawke's Bay. Like, two or 3 at a time.
In Richard Pearce design.
Richie can take 4 in the helicopter.
Yeah.
Like, that's 4. How many do you need? 30. So you need another probably 10 Cessnas, a couple of crop dusters.
Yeah.
Maybe even a hang glider.
A tar culling helicopter.
Yeah. All of it. Maybe no Robbies. They're a bit dangerous.
Could we get them in the beautiful green and gold Waimate transport trucks and just track them up there like cattle?
They're just shitting and pissing, coming out the back of the truck through Kaikoura.
It's like, jeez, what the fuck is in that truck? It stinks. Is that a person's knee? What? My God.
It's just the South Canterbury squad.
It's the undefeated South Canterbury Heartland squad.
Well, there's a will, there's a way, but I know we're too late. I wish they'd come out maybe a month or so ago and say, we're struggling to raise money.
Can you help us?
Because then I know they did, and they tried locally. They said they tried to get funding, and they got the management together and said, we're facing a massive mountain here. They should have gone. Would have been good if they'd gone public with that, because that would have, we would have definitely tried to help out as much as we can. I don't know how we would have. But we would have given it a home.
Send you some Export Ultra.
Yes, we would have sent you some beers for the road trip, even if it was a bus trip.
Yeah, 100%. I was messaging a mate down there and saying, look, great platform to run on if you want to become the mayor of South Canterbury. Like, I will get the boys up to Napier next year.
Yep.
Just a single policy campaign. So yeah, a little bit disappointing. Hey, let's quickly whip around a couple of things that I found interesting in the sporting world before we get to yours, please. A post went up it's actually on TikTok, said you got to fight one player in the NBA, and if you win, you take their contract. Who are you fighting? Stephen Adams commented on it, and he tagged Rudy Gobert. Said, I'll fight him. Rudy Gobert is getting paid $40-something million this season. He is the only player in the top 10 highest paid players still in the NBA playoffs. So he's the highest paid dude still playing basketball in the NBA at the moment.
Right.
And he's like this French absolute goober. He's the guy who was the first guy to get COVID in the NBA.
Oh, was he the guy that they subbed off during the free throws yesterday because I was saying we need to bounce the third one? That's not him, is it?
Yes, yeah, it was him. He was. The coach was trying to explain that we're going to miss the last free throw so that we can try and tip it back in to get more points. And you could just see him going, what? And
then they went,
You know what? Fuck it. Hit the bench. Yeah. So that's him. He's also the guy, you remember when COVID was happening and he was touching all the microphones?
Ah, yes, and he had COVID.
He shut the NBA down when he got COVID. He's that guy. He's the guy who filmed himself crying in his car when he didn't make the All-Star team. He's just a bit of a goober. Anyway, he's getting paid $45 million and Stephen Adams wants to dust him up for his contract. Sticking with basketball as well, the Washington Mystics and the WNBA are offering bottomless mimosas with tickets.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Bottomless mimosas. Is that all sexes?
Yeah.
Or woman only?
No, anyone that wants to come. Bottomless mimosas, it's chicken and waffles. I think there's other goodies that you get with it as well. So you go down, I presume you get a table with this. You're probably not sitting in the stands eating it. And the bottomless brunch thing that they're setting up, it finishes 10 minutes before tip-off. So you go in, you have a massive preload, have a gas bag with your mates, have your bottomless mimosas, you've got a skinful.
And then hit the WNBA.
And the game tips off.
See, that's the kind of thinking I like.
You know, what are we going to do? I think the Breakers used to have tables courtside. I don't think they do anymore.
No, because when the new owner came in, he was like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
no one else is doing this.
No one else. This is crazy. And balls would hit the table and glass would go everywhere.
I know.
And you could only really fit like 20 people along the court sides. And so that's when they scrapped it and actually bought in NBA-style courtside
seats, which are cooler. But I do like the idea of the courtside table because for the exact things you said, the bowl of mussels going flying when a ball hits it. That's hilarious. And then also just the event of actually going and sitting there would have been quite cool. And just finally, Kobayashi, who is widely credited with popularizing competitive eating, is retiring from the sport.
Oh, he's the OG.
He is the OG. Let me give you a couple of stats. 6 times Nathan's hot dog eating contest champion. That was 6 in a row as well, 2001 to 2007. 2001 took the scene by storm after eating 50 hot dogs in 12 minutes as a rookie. He broke his own record 3 more times. And then was the long-time rival of Joey Chestnut, who I think has won it every year since 2007.
Yeah.
And then Kobayashi. Skinny dude as well, which I think always caught me by surprise.
Yeah, I don't understand. There must be, I mean, there'd be great, like, you know how you've got Full Swing, Drive to Survive, Break Point.
Yeah.
I want
Hunger for Success.
I want Hunger Games. I want someone to follow that and follow professional eating. Not because I want to know what happens afterwards, because you can't put 50 dogs down your throat in 12 minutes and then just sit back and have a beer and talk to your mates. Are you throwing that up? Are you like lying down? Are you taking some indigestion things? Yeah, like what's happening there? Because is it coming straight back up? You just go out and are you bulimicking that up? Is there a rule around you has to stay down for an hour? Can you just throw it up? Are they all bulimic?
Oh, I don't know. Because even Joe Chestnut's not that big.
Nah.
And what's the training regime? You can't be doing that.
Are they stretching their stomach with water? I'd like to just get deep into the training regime, psyche, and just general vibe of professional eating.
Because you know these guys are freaks.
Yes.
You're not just like a normal dude who's also capable of eating 50 hot dogs in 12 minutes. No.
Yeah.
You are a freak.
Yeah. There's several things that have had to line up.
Yes.
Physiologically for that to happen.
How did you find out you could do this?
How you could throw 50 hot dogs down your gullet in 12 minutes?
Yeah. What made you think, hang on, do you reckon I could do 50 of these? Yeah. We need to follow the deep, dark recesses. Where do they live? How do they live? Do they make a lot of money?
I want to see the rivalries. I want to see the smack talk. I want it to crescendo into Joey Chestnut fucking headlocking that protester and dropping her to the ground.
Yeah. All right, Netflix, pour some money into that. All right, let's take one last break. We'll come back with yours, please.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
3 of them today, I believe. First caller here, yours, please.
G'day, fellas. Richard Shrinkage here. Just wondering in relation to this beer fest in Munich, how that's going to affect the G Lane curse. Obviously, G Lane's not going to be able to go to the grounds for any New Zealand sporting fixtures, but is it his distance from Auckland that maybe will exacerbate the curse? Just any advice on that, thanks, would be great, and fuck South Canterbury.
The export beer garden tour to Munich is happening September, October. So you can join us if you want. You and a mate text Ultra to 3236 and just fill out the form and you're in the draw. 7 days in Munich at Beer Fest. It just happens to be at the same time as Beer Fest. It'd be great if you could want to join us. Got a bit confused with that. Was it talking about, do I need to be away from the country? Because unless I go to a Bayern Munich match when I was over there.
Well, I guess what I took that as is, does the curse increase in power the further away from Auckland you are?
Oh, yes.
So if you imagine a dot of G Lane on a map and you're in Auckland, the dot's quite small. The further away from Auckland you get, the dot becomes bigger.
Yeah.
So does that then impact, could potentially Bayern Munich get sucked into the gravitational pull of the curse?
Yeah.
I guess the problem is you don't support Bayern Munich.
No, I don't.
Do you support any German sports teams?
No, I don't. So
unless the Chiefs are playing there.
yeah, unless the Chiefs are on maybe a sabbatical at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I doubt it. I think the All Blacks are potentially playing, but they're playing at home.
Is Anton Segner's team from Munich?
That's a long bow. This is a long bow, okay? But I need to break this curse. I am going to start travelling and going to games.
Yeah.
So I need to get rid of the grim lane thing. It's popping up everywhere. It's starting to affect me. Starting to affect my family.
Qantas, reach out.
Yeah.
And just one final thought on that. Look, South Canterbury's going through a bit at the moment, so if you could just park the fuck South Canterbury for just like a couple of weeks until the Heartland season starts.
Keep them coming.
And I immediately, now that I've said that, I know what I've signed myself up for. But we are grieving. Another caller here. Yours, please.
Hey fellas, I have an idea for the North versus South game where it's exactly like the Ryder Cup. Every 2 years, 2 captains are selected to pick a 30-man squad each, and they battle it out in a 3-match series for the Cook Strait Cup. And yeah, that's something I could get behind.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind that. The whole picking a captain and getting them to pick their squad's quite cool.
Yeah.
Would
the captain play? Because in the Ryder Cup they don't.
No, yeah, they wouldn't. So it's a coach.
Which I still quite like.
Yeah.
So, if you've got, it'd be Richie McCaw for the South Island, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's true. It doesn't have to be a coach. Maybe it's like you're right. It just needs
manager,
to be,
essentially.
It needs to be a personality. And in the North Island, maybe it's John Kerwin. Well,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? John Kerwin, Richie McCaw select their teams. If it's going to be like the Ryder Cup, though, there need to be different formats? Does one game need to be 7s, and then another game's 15s, and then is there a women's game 15, a men's game at 15, a women's
Mixed
7s,
touch.
and a women's mixed touch? Run it straight.
Yeah.
Like there's, but
Yeah.
again, that's that kind of All-Stars weekend that you talked about. Maybe it's a combination of that. So Richie picks an all-star team from the south. John Kerwin picks an all-star team from the north.
Yes.
Go to Wellington for an all-star weekend.
Yes, and there's a force-back comp. There's a kicking shootout. There is
Bull
a
rush.
bull rush game.
100-meter sprint.
Yeah, yes, 100%. Yes, I completely agree. The Ryder Cup is the way to do that. Yeah.
The Jesse Ryder
The
Cup.
Jesse Ryder Cup. The Jesse Ryder Cup. Thank you very much. God, it's not even a Wednesday. That's the best half-baked sports idea we've had in months. Last caller here, yours, please.
Hey guys, might be one for the Mad Monday, but how long has Wade Egan lived in New Zealand for, and when is he eligible to represent the Kiwis? Because if he's not getting picked for Origin this year, it could be a real option for us. Have a look into it for me.
Not bad. But it's not bad. I mean, what does he sign till 26?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just sign an extension. There's a bit of battered dog syndrome with me. I was waiting for him to say fuck South Canterbury at the end there, but he had actually
Do you
just
want me
finished.
to say fuck South Canterbury?
I don't. I've done the research for you.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I have. I'm basically like, instead of just Googling stuff for yourself, you can send in a voicemail and I'll Google it for you. It's a roundabout way of doing it, but I will do it and have done it. Wigan moved here in 2020, which is 4 years ago.
So he's definitely eligible.
No, 5 years before you can change. Yeah. So he will be eligible next year, unless we find out that he's got a Kiwi grandparent, in which case he can play for us. And I don't think it'll be too hard to fudge that. Every year you look at the Māori All Blacks and there'll be a guy in there who's like, you don't pass the sniff test. And then you find out that they just rung him and said, look, we need a halfback. Have you got any?
And they're like, yep.
No. And then the selectors will be like, where are you from? And he'll be like, oh, I don't know. Like,
Is he?
Yeah. And they'll be like, and what was your last name? Yeah, okay, give us a week. And then they'll come back like, did you know your great-grandfather?
Yeah, I had a mate who played league in Hamilton. He was a very good league player. And he got called up by the Waikato Māori league thing. And he was like, I haven't got any Māori. And he goes, can you say kia ora? And he goes, kia ora, you're in.
Yeah. No, I have heard stories about that with the New Zealand Māoris team where they're just like, just give me a week, man. I will figure this out for you.
I will find some blood.
We need a first five. So maybe we could do that. And I think Nathan Fiend, I always confuse him with
that's
Nathan
right.
Friend. Nathan
Yeah.
Fiend did that and played for New Zealand.
What a great last name, The Fiend.
They called it Granny Gate because they said that his grandmother was actually from New Zealand. She wasn't. So I think that was Granny Gate. I don't know. Maybe we Granny Gate him in there.
Yep.
Or we just wait till next year.
I think you just wait.
Yeah.
You don't need him in a hurry, do we?
Happy enough that he's playing in for the Warriors.
So if he plays State of Origin, immediately he's out. It resets the clock.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Resets the clock for another 5 years? Or is it
No, you're allowed to switch. Oh, fuck. It gets confusing from there. You can change allegiances once every few years, but you still have to meet the criteria already.
Right, but so you could play Origin and still play for the Kiwis next year.
I think it does reset some sort of clock. I'll need to do some more Googling. But you know what? Our priority is he plays for the Warriors.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Kiwis are fine. We've got great hookers from New Zealand anyway, so we don't desperately need them. We desperately need them at the Warriors. We desperately need them at the Warriors. Just before we go, a bit of action in Monaco, and you've got some water cooler chat to prep us.
F1, it's cool now because you've got Drive to Survive. Everyone thinks they know about it.
Yep.
But here's some water cooler chat, some points for Monaco this weekend. One of the oldest Formula Ones. First did a Formula One in 1955 in Monaco.
Where is Monaco?
Monaco is a tiny little principality on the Côte d'Azur, just north of Nice in France. So it's the shortest track in the F1. It's only 2 miles long, this track, and it's that street track. There's only 37,000 tickets they sell for this, compared to,
What do they cost?
Oh, yeah, they cost an absolute bomb. It's made up on public roads and stuff, so it takes 6 weeks to build beforehand because it's just on, they just use it on the same roads. Monaco itself, here you go, Manaia, is only 0.78 square miles.
Jeez,
The whole country.
It's like coastal Vatican.
Pretty much, it is like coastal, and that's why it's smaller than Central Park in New York.
What?
Yeah.
And no wonder it's the shortest course.
Yeah, and so, but basically that's why all the Formula One drivers live there as well, because there's no tax, there's no wealth tax, there's no capital gains tax.
Right.
And there's like millions of millionaires there. They're all millionaires.
Yeah.
And they get this tax break, plus there's so many rich people there that no one cares that Charles Leclerc is having coffee or Ricardo's having a dinner out.
Right,
They don't get harangued like they would if they lived anywhere else. So,
yeah, this one always stands out whenever they have this event because they'll have the super yachts, like the billionaire super yachts parked off the coast there.
Yeah, they have over like billions and billions of dollars worth of yachts because it's the big swinging dick place to be with your yacht.
Yes. Because there's no point parking it up in Caroline Bay. No one gives a shit, It
would be good though, wouldn't it? Yeah. There is one police officer for every 100 residents in Monaco.
Shit.
So
there's 5 police officers.
On this course, it's so short and got so many corners that the average F1 driver will change gears 3,600 times during the Monaco Grand Prix.
That is ridiculous.
3,500 times they're going to go ding 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 ding. Here we go.
I've always thought if I could be a professional athlete, like live the life of one of them, F1 would be right up there.
Yeah, they go. I mean,
the places they go.
Verstappen's rumored to be paid $70 million US a year with his bonuses, his winning bonuses, with his Red Bull contract.
Yeah.
So it's pretty significant. I think we're going to go through some odds with Carl from the TAB.
Carl Leclerc
on the sports book a bit later on as well.
Brilliant. Well, enjoy your weekend of sport. We will have Super Rugby coverage brought to you by Max Raft on Sky Sport 9 tonight and tomorrow night. The Warriors at 6 p.m. on Sunday as well on Sky Sport 9, brought to you by 4 and 20 Pies. So enjoy your weekend of sport, and we'll see you on Monday for another episode of the Agenda Podcast.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.